So if we want to interact with any databases, we need to have interaction page. So how to create such kind of things by using Tinker, tkinter module. I will explain you that thing in today's class. So before that thing, so initially, yeah, if you want to work on mail, so if you want to send a simple mail, so for that purpose, we need to take help of SMTP module. So here, SMTP stands for Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. So here, it is a protocol which is used to send a mail, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. So if you want to send a mail to anyone, we need to use this simple mail transfer protocol. So if you want to send a text mail only, it will be helpful. So here, coming to this thing, so here it is a one module. So initially we need to import this module. So as we already aware of this thing, how to import any module. Import is a keyword which is used to import any module. After this thing, here I'm saying import SMTP and I'm running this portion. So whenever you run this portion, if it returns, yeah, so here SMTP lib. So if you want to import SMTP library, we need to enter this command SMTP lib. So if this module is not there, it will return error like no module named SMTP. So whenever it returns no module name SMTP library or anything, so if it is not there, you need to go to Anaconda prompt. Remember this thing. Not in this case. In this case, SMTP library is already predefinedly installed in your platform. If it is not there, you need to go to Anaconda. So you need to go to Anaconda prompt. After going into this Anaconda prompt, here you need to enter a command. So you need to open this Anaconda prompt. After opening this Anaconda prompt, here you need to enter a command conda install. So whatever the module you want to install, you need to enter module name here. If you get module not found error, you need to do this thing. You need to open Anaconda prompt. So you can search that thing in search bar, and here you need to enter conda install module name. So here it is a way to install any module which is not by default specified in your platform. So it is a way to install any module. So after this thing, if you want to send a mail, what we need to do? We need to import this SMTP library. Yes, it is not giving any error. It is successfully executed. That means this module is already predefined in our laptop. So after this thing, so whenever you consider your mobile application itself, initially we need to have sender mail ID. So here we need to enter sender mail ID. So here sender is nothing but here we need to enter. Here I want to enter my mail ID, that is jacob832@gmail.com. So here you need to enter the sender mail ID with the host address. So here host address is nothing but here I'm using Gmail server. So for that purpose here I'm using Gmail host. Whereas if you are using yahoo.com, you can specify yahoo.com here. Whereas you are using rjkt.ac.in, you can specify that thing here. So that is nothing but host address. So after specifying the sender ID, we need to specify receiver mail ID. So these are the variables only. So in the receiver mail ID, to whom you want to send the mail ID, you need to specify the receiver mail ID. So I think I sent already mail to the one person. So the student mail ID is Ramya Nachupalli105@gmail.com. So yeah, Ramya, you can check your mail ID once. You will get mail from my mail. So here, whom you want to send the mail, you need to enter the receiver mail ID with the host address. So here I'm using same host for that thing also. For that purpose, here I'm specifying @gmail.com only. So after this thing, whenever you want to log in into your account, first you need to specify your password. Whenever you want to log in into your account, you need to specify your password. So here you need to specify the password of the sender. So here in this field, we need to specify the sender password. So till here we did not did anything. Initially we imported SMTP library module. After that we specified the sender mail ID. Then next we specified the receiver mail ID. After that we specified the sender password to log in into the account. So after this thing we need to interact with the SMTP server. We need to interact with the SMTP server. So for that purpose here I'm creating one object. So I'm saying here to interact with the socket, here I'm specifying I'm using this module. SMTP lib dot. I want to interact with this SMTP library module. To establish the connection with the SMTP, here we have SMTP function, which is defined in this SMTP module. So after this thing, in this thing, initially we need to specify the host address. Host address is nothing but that is the IP address of the host. So whatever the server you are using, you need to specify that server host address. So here we are using SMTP server dot. So here our host is Gmail. In this example, we are using host as Gmail. Here I'm specifying smtp.gmail.com. So here I specified the host address. So after specifying the host address, I want to interact with the web page. Here I want to interact with the web page. So does anyone getting any problem? Yeah, good. So here after this thing, if you want to establish the socket connection, we need to have host address. After that, we need to have specific port number. So here it is a transport layer protocol. So as we already learned this thing in computer network subject, so here we need to specify the port number. So specific application have its own port number. If you consider HTTP server, for that specific port number is 80. So if you consider FTP protocol, for that specific port number is some 27. Like that, for this SMTP module, which is used for Gmail, so for that specific port number is 587. It is a port number for this SMTP library. So here till here we established the socket connection. Socket connection is nothing but IP address plus port number is called as socket address. That means here we connected the socket address. Can you please everyone keep your microphones in mute mode? Yeah. Still now we established the socket connection. After establishing this socket connection, so we need to leave the message from the server. We need to leave the message from server. So whenever you want to use that server, here we established the connection. We need to access this connection only. So here I am using start TLS function. So here I am using start TLS function. So here start TLS stands for time to leave server. So here start time to leave server. Whenever you interact with the server, you need to establish the connection and you need to send the mail. For that purpose, we need to use this start TLS object. Whenever you call this object, so here message will be leave from the server. So after the thing, we need to log in into our account. So here whenever you establish the connection, you need to log in into your account. So if you want to log in into your account, you need to use login object or login function. So in this function, we need to specify. So whenever you want to log in into your account, you need to specify sender mail ID, which is stored in sender. And here we need to specify the password corresponding to that sender. So whenever you specify these two fields, whenever the sender mail ID matches with this password, if these two are correct, it will establish the connection with your mail ID. So after this thing, we need to send a mail to any person. To send a mail to any person, here we need to use send mail attribute or send mail function. In the send mail function, yeah. So here in the send mail function, here I'm specifying, we need to specify the sender mail ID from whose mail ID we are sending the mail. After this thing, we need to specify the receiver mail ID. So here initially we need to specify the sender mail ID. The next we need to specify the receiver mail ID. After this, we need to specify the mail, the our text message which you want to send to the specific user. So here I'm saying hi, good morning everyone. So whatever the message you want to send, you can send that message. So if you want to send the mail to any person, here it is a basic program. Whereas if you try to do this thing, you will get an error. So whenever you enter all the credentials correctly also, then also you will get a error like connection failed. Such kind of error you will get. Why? Because your Gmail application is highly secure. So to avoid that problem, to send a mail by using this simple Python program, in your Google accounts, you need to go to less secure apps. So whenever, so in your Google account, you need to go to this less secure apps. After going to less secure apps, so here I'm clicking on this thing, and you need to give this permission. So by default, it will be off in your laptops or off for your mail accounts. You need to turn on this thing. So if you want to send a mail successfully, you need to turn on this thing. So here by default, it will be turned off. You need to turn on this thing. So here it is a basic program to send a mail to any person. So here you need to enter your mail ID. So you enter your password, and here you need to specify the receiver mail ID. So from you, I'm giving simple assignment. So that assignment is like this. You need to send a mail to multiple users. You need to send a mail to multiple users. So you might get a lot of OTPs. So a lot of times you will get OTPs to your mobile numbers as well as mail IDs. How such kind of OTPs coming, how they are generating random OTPs, and how they are sending those OTPs to you. So for that purpose, for this simple program or the same program, so here we are taking help of this random module. So by taking this random module, so here in this thing, I want to generate a random OTP with a 6 character. Let us assume. So here I want to generate a random OTP with a 6 character. So for that purpose, initially I'm defining an empty string. After this, what I am doing? So I want to take one for loop to generate a OTP with 6 character. So for that purpose, here I'm saying for I in. So here I'm saying for I in range of. So initially I want to generate a OTP. I want to generate a OTP only with the characters. So for that purpose, here I'm specifying 65, 123. So in this range, with the specific characters, I want to generate a OTP. And after generating the number in this range, I want to add each and every character to R string. So for that purpose, here I'm saying R plus equals to, I want to convert this equivalent ordinal number into its equivalent ASCII character. So for that purpose, here I am using char function. So in this char function, what I want to, sorry, yeah, here I don't want to specify this thing. I want to generate a OTP with the 0 to 6. I want to generate a OTP with 0 to 6. After this thing, I want to convert the random character. So here I want to take the random module help. So here I'm saying random.randint. Every time I want to generate one random number in the range of 65 to, so here in the range of 65 to 123. So it is the range of alphabets only. So here if you perform this action and if you execute this program, so you can observe. So every time it will generate a random OTP. I'm running this portion. So here it is the OTP generated by this random model EK so hyphen, and yeah, here I'm removing 65 also. I'm taking the values from 67 and I'm running this portion again. So here it is a random, yeah, here I want to decrease this range also. In this thing I want to specify the numbers in the range of 120 only. Let us say. So whenever you generate the OTP, so here it is a randomly generated OTP. Here we got 6 characters. Those are HHRAE underscore. So here it is a randomly generated OTP. So how many times you run this program, it will generate a random OTPs that many times. Whereas if you want to include numbers also in it, here we need to start numbers in the range of 48, this thing. So here every time it will generate a random OTP. So here in the real time scenario, what happens means it will generate random OTP and it will store this random OTP to the database, those who are sending the OTP to you. And whenever you enter the generated OTP by using your mail, then it will check the generated OTP as well as you entered OTP. If both are matched, it will accept your connection, or else it will deny your connection. So till here it is the basic program. So after this thing, here I'm copy pasting this entire program. Below this thing, I'm copy pasting this entire program. And here I want to set OTP. So here I'm sending message like R plus hi. So here I'm saying hi, this is OTP to login. So here I'm saying hi, this is OTP to login. So here whenever you execute this program, it will send a random OTP to the user each and every time. So here it is about basic SMTP library module. After this thing, we will discuss TK inter module. After this thing, we will discuss about TK Inter module. So it is a module which is used for web designing. So here we have lot of application, like we have Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, like that. So if you consider your own hub itself, that is also a one database. So on that hub, we will have all our credentials. So if you want to log in into your account, what we need to get? We need to have that student ID number field as well as password field. So whenever you enter student mail ID, sorry, student ID number as well as password, it will, so whenever you click on login, it will check your credentials, whatever present in the data. If the credentials are correct, it will log in you into your account. So to create such kind of pages, to create some kind of, sorry, that kind of, so web designing is nothing but, so if you interact with the any web database, we need to have one front page to interact with the database. That is nothing but frame. So we need to create such kind of frames. So in the Python, we can create those frames by using TK Inter module as well as EV module. Whereas coming to this TK Inter module, it is a very easy module and very convenient module. So by using this thing, I will create one prototype. So to enter our credentials. So here, before going to this topic deeply, we need to aware of what is nothing but what. So here, initially, I will explain you that thing. So here in your college mail ID field itself, initially we will get this field, that is ID number field. So here, whatever the thing you are getting like this ID number field, these are called as labels. Whatever the names you are getting, these are called as labels. So here, these are called as labels. So after this thing, beside this thing, you will get a box kind of thing. So here, to enter your credentials, you will get this box kind of structure. This box kind of structures are called as entries. So here, this box kind of structures are called as entries. So after this thing, finally you will get two buttons. So to log in into your account, you will get one login button or one sign out button or logout button. So these are called as button. So if you get this kind of buttons, so this check boxes, these are called as check buttons. So you need to aware of this technical terminology before going into this thing. So here, this text symbols, this text information is called as labels, and whatever the boxes you are getting to write some information, those are called as entries, and whatever the buttons you are clicking, those are called as buttons only. So whenever you get some kind of options like male or female, such kind of things are called as check buttons. So here, this is the basic terminology. After this thing, I will explain you all these things in the basic program. So to perform this entire programming, we need to take help of this TK Inter module. So here, how to import this TK Inter module? So here I am importing this TK Inter module in different style. That is, so here see here I'm using TK Inter module, and I'm importing this module in different style. I want to import all the functions present in this TK Inter module openly. So here I'm saying this thing, and I'm checking whether this module is existed in my laptop or not. Yes, it is not giving any error, and it executed successfully. That's why this module is this module is already present in my laptop. So after this thing, whenever you use this module, we need to create a frame. So here, to create a frame, here I'm using frame variable. So here, TK is a function which is used to create a frame. By using this function, we need to use this label function which is present in this TK Inter module. So here I'm using label function to create a label, and I want to create this label in the frame itself. So here initially we created frame. In this frame itself, I want to create this label. So that's why here I'm saying this thing, and I want to give this label name as ID number. So here I want to give this label name as ID number. So here I'm creating one label with the ID number field. So after this thing, I want to create three labels like this. I want to create three labels. So for the purpose, I'm copy pasting same thing directly. So here I created three labels. So I'm creating all these labels in the created frame itself. So for that purpose, here where you are creating these labels, you need to specify that thing. Here I'm creating all these things in this created frame only. After that thing, I want to specify second field as full name. So here I want to specify the name. I want to specify this thing also with capital letter. So here I want to specify the name. So after name field, I want to specify the password. After this thing, I want to specify the password. So here I'm specifying all these credentials. So I'm giving this entire information for labels. So after defining these labels, we need to write some information. So before that thing, we need to fix a location for this this label in the created frame. So to fix the location for this thing, we have different functions. Those are grid function, pack function, like that we have lot of function. So in this scenario, here I'm using grid function. In this thing, I am using grid function. So to make you clear this grid function, I will explain you what is a grid in the black sheet. Good. So let assume, so you have one white page. So in your laptop, let's consider this thing as your screen only. So in this screen, it will be in the form of pixels. It will be in the form of this box kind of structure. Whenever you want to access the specific box, you can access these boxes by using rows and want to access any box from this screen, you need to specify the row index as well as column index. Whereas if you want to access this thing here, you need to specify row index as 0 as well as column index as, like that. You want to access this thing, it belongs to row 0 as well as column 1. So like that, if you want to access this location, if you want to keep any label at this location below this thing, here you need to specify row number as 1 comma column number as 0. So whatever the location you want to fix by using grid function, you need by row number as well as column number. So whenever you want to access the location by using grid function, you need to specify, initially you need to specify row number, second you need to specify the column number. So you need to know thing in grid function. Here I am coming to this thing. I want to fix the location for all the tables. So for that purpose, here I am using grid function. Initially, I want to fix the label 1. So here it is label 1 and it is label 2. After this thing, it is label 3. Initially, I want to fix the location for label 1. So here I'm saying label 1 dot grid of. So in this thing, we need to specify the row number as well as column number. So in this example, here I'm specifying row equals to 0. And so if you want to specify the column 0, here we need not to specify the column 0. By default, if you don't specify the column, by default it will be considered as 0 only. So here I am creating this label at the 0, 0 location. After this thing, I want to fix the location for label 2. I want to fix this label 2 at the location of at the location of 1, 0. So that is nothing but here I am specifying row equals to 1. After this thing, I want to fix the location for label 3. So here I'm saying grid of, here I'm specifying row equals to 2. So here I specified the rows, and till here we created 3 labels. So whenever you execute this portion, so here, yeah, we will see this thing later. Yeah. So till here we created the labels and we fixed the location for those labels. After this thing, to write some information corresponding to this ID number, name as well as password, we need to have entries. So for that purpose, we need to create 3 entries for 3 labels. So for that purpose, here I'm creating entry 1. So whenever you want to define an entry, we need to use this entry function. In this entry function, we need to specify where we are creating this entry first. So here we are creating this entry in the created frame itself. So for that purpose, here I specified the created frame. After that thing, what we need to specify? Yeah, in this frame itself, we need to get these boxes like this. For 3 labels, we need to get 3 entries. So here, and we need to create all these 3 frames. All these 3 entries in the same created frames. I'm keeping these entries names as E1 E1, E2 as well as E3. These are the different entries. So here, to write some information, we define entries also. After this thing, we need to fix this entries location. So after getting, yeah, so here I'm again going to this thing. Yeah. So in this example, if you observe, so if you keep label 1 here, let us assume if you keep label 1 here, beside this label 1, at this location, you need to get entry 1. And if you keep label 2 here, at beside this thing only, you need to get entry 2. Like this, beside this thing, you need to get entry 3. So here you need to get entry 3. So to perform that thing here, we need to define each and every entries beside the labels. So for that purpose, we need to fix the location for those entries. So to fix the location, again, I'm using grid function only. So here, initially, I want to specify the entry 1 beside, I want to specify the entry 1 beside label 1. So here I'm specifying row 0, comma, column 1. So beside that thing means column 0. Beside column 0, we need to specify column 1. So here it is about entry 1. Like this, we need to specify the entry 2. So entry 2 should be present beside the label 2. So label 2 presented row 1. So here I'm specifying the same row. So here row equals to 1. After this, we need to specify the column equals to, here we need to take same thing in the second column. That is nothing but index 1. After this thing, we need to get third entry. And here we need to fix the location for this thing. So here I am saying row equals to 2. After row equals to 2. After this thing, we need to specify column equals to 1 only. So till now we defined labels as well as entries. After that, we fixed the location for these labels as well as location for these entries. So after this thing, what we need to do? After this thing, we need to define a function to get this result. So here I'm defining one function, that is, so here I'm defining some random function with the function name MNS. So here, after defining this function, so every time I want to get the result which is defined in this entries. So here in the real-time scenario, whenever you enter your credentials, it will interact with your database. Why? Because by default at the backend, it will be interacted with your database. Here in this thing, we are not interconnected with the database. That's why we need to observe this output in the output prompt. For that purpose, here we are getting the result. So to get the result from the entries, we need to use get function. So here I want to get the credentials which are entered in entry 1, as well as I want to get the result which are entered in entry 2. Like that, I want to get the results which are entered in entry 3 as well. So here to get these results, here I'm using get function. After this thing here, after entering one person's credential, those are not appear in this front page. So I will explain you that thing later. So first we will execute this portion once. So after this thing, whenever you want to interact with the web page, here we need to create a button. So to create the button, we need to use button function. So if you want to create any button, we need to use button function. So here button is a function which is used to create a button. So where we are creating this button, in the creative frame itself, we are creating this button. So here in this frame itself, we are creating this button. After this thing, for this button, I want to keep name as text. So here for the button, here I'm keeping name as a login. So here for this thing, I want to give name as login button. And for this button, I want to fix foreground. That is nothing but background color. Sorry, foreground is nothing but text color. So I want to keep this text color as in blue color. I want to appear this color in the form of blue color. So for that purpose, here I'm specifying foreground as blue color. And after this, I want to specify the background color. So if you want to specify the background color, we need to use this BG attribute. So here in this BG attribute, so here I'm specifying background color as some red color. After this thing, whenever you click on this button, so this command becomes maximum. So here in this button function, here I'm specifying the command attribute. So here, whenever you click on this button, I need to call this function. Whenever you click on this button, I need to call this function. So what is that function name? MNS only. So here, whenever you click on that button, we need to call this function MNS, and we need to retrieve the information which is entered in all the entries. So after writing this portion, we need to fix the location for this button also. To fix the location, again we need to use grid function only. So here in this grid function, here I am specifying the location for this button. I want to create this button below the label 3. I want to create this button below the label 3. And yeah, So here I'm entering this thing, and after this thing we created frame till now. So after executing this entire program, we need to terminate this created frame. So to terminate the created frame, we need to use this main loop function. Main loop is a function which is used to terminate the created frame. So after this thing, I am executing this entire portion. So whenever you execute this portion, yeah, here we will get the box. So here it is the box. So here it is the interaction page which I created now. So in this thing, initially we created label 1 as well as label 2, label 3. So these are the label 1, label 2, label 3. So beside that thing, we fixed the location for those things. That's why we got all these things in this 0 and different rows. So here we fixed these entries in the rows, so same rows as well as different columns. So that means column 1 which has nothing but beside column 0. So here let us assume this thing is a column 0 and it is a column 1. After that, below this thing we fixed the button location. So for this button we kept the foreground as foreground. This is nothing but text color which is appearing in blue color, whereas we kept this text color as, or this background color as red color, so which is appeared in red color. So here I want to enter my ID number. So here it is my college ID number. So after this thing, I am entering my name. So here I am entering Jakub. So after this thing, I am entering some random password. So here I am entering 8185. So 34. So here I am entering some random password. So whenever you enter this random password, so here in this scenario, whenever you click on this login button, it will call this function MNS. So in this scenario, we are not interacted with our database. That's why it is giving result to all. Whenever you connect with the database, these credentials will be sent to your database. So let us assume you are using, so you are accessing your details from our RGKT hub only. So if you enter your credentials, it will send to your hub database. So whenever this goes to the database, it will check with your credentials. If your credentials are same, it will log in you into your account. If your credentials are wrong, it will deny the connection or it will reject the connection. So here, after clicking on this login button, so we need to disappear all these entries. So whatever the details you enter, this should not be appear whenever you click on this login button. So for that purpose, in this function, defMNS function, whenever you retrieve this entire information, we need to delete the information which is present in entries. So here we need to delete the information which is present in entries. So here I'm saying e1 dot delete. To delete the entire information present in the entries, we need to use delete function. So here I'm saying delete function. In this delete function, what we need to specify, so whatever the text you want to delete, you need to specify that information. So from the starting onwards till end of the entries, I want to delete the entire thing. For that purpose, here I specified I want to delete each and everything after taking the text. So here I want to delete the content of sorry, yeah, I want to delete the content which is present in entry 1 as well as entry 2 as well as entry 3. Again I'm running this portion. Yeah, again I'm running this portion, and after running this portion, here one frame will be created. So here it is the previous frame. Yeah, don't worry, I did not terminate that thing. So again, yeah, it is the previous frame only. Yeah, it is a new frame. So after getting this frame, here I am entering my ID number. Sorry, here I am entering my ID number. After this thing, here I am entering my name, that is Jakub. So after this thing, here I am entering some random password. So here let us assume it is my password. So whenever you retrieve all this information, whenever information sent to database, so this entire information is erased. So for that purpose, here we need to delete the entire information which is present in this thing. So after this thing, here, so if you consider this ID number field, so coming to your batch, so everyone have common ID. That is, so first 3 digits will be common for each and everyone. So for that purpose, I am keeping first 3 digits common in entry 1. After this thing, I am executing this portion. So whenever you execute this portion, here I am entering some random ID. So that is B151901. I am entering some random name. That is, yeah. So here I am entering some Yamuna. So some random name. So after this thing, I am giving some random number. So whenever you observe, so here I kept first 3 fields common. Why? Because for your entire batch, this field is common, that's why I kept that thing as common. So whatever the text is required, you can specify that thing in this delete function. So here whatever the indexes you specified in this delete function, those are deleted permanently. This is about the basic tkinter module. So in this tkinter module, we have a lot of attributes. So if you are interested to learn this web designing completely by using tkinter module, I will forward you the documentation after finishing this session. So if you are interested, go through that thing. But coming to our course, it is not that much important thing, and we did not use this stuff at anywhere. So from the Monday onwards, we will start analytics. So from the Monday onwards, we will start Python, which is related to the machine learning. So after discussing those basics, in the next week itself, we will start the machine learning algorithms. So that is about the course. So after this thing, yeah, we have a lot of things in it. I will forward you the entire content. Go through that entire content. So with this, I am concluding for today. Thank you.